What is going on, guys? Stu here, back with another Marvel Strike Force video. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Today I'm going to be going over the top 15 characters that I believe will always have some sort of use in Marvel Strike Force in the meta going forward in the future, and just characters that have unique abilities and unique things that make them different and stand out from the rest of the cast. But if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and let's get right into the intro, guys. Alrighty, welcome back to another Marvel Strike Force video. Hopefully you guys are doing really well. So as I said in the intro, I do have 15 characters here that I looked through in the entire roster that I believe will always have some use in the meta, or at least have some sort of game-changing value, rather than other characters that might only work on certain teams or might only have one team that they work with. All 15 of these characters will always have use in the meta of some sort in the future that I believe going forward. Let's just get straight into it. We're going to be starting off with the 4 characters in speed manipulation. Here we go. Alrighty, welcome back. Here we are with the 4 characters that do have some sort of speed manipulation in their kit. And what do I mean by speed manipulation? Well, if you look here and read Kang's kit, and I'm sure I've mentioned this 100 times, he does have an ability where on offense, fill speed bar by 5% for self and all allies. This is extremely important, and also Cable also does the same thing as well. A lot of people don't really use Cable as much as they use Kang now, because Kang is pretty much just a better Cable, but he also does have on spawn fill speed bar by 5% for self and all allies. And the reason why I mentioned Cable as well is because any characters that have some sort of speed manipulation in their kit can make other teams work just by having that extra bit of speed. Emma Frost is a different character, however. She is someone that I would recommend more for defensive teams, because she does have that ability where she applies negative 10% speed to all enemies, and that works a lot better on defense. However, you can still use it on offense. I would just prefer to have someone like Kang over Emma, just because Kang does a lot of damage as well. And then Loki as well also does have a little bit of a speed manipulation to him, but on spawn fill speed bar by 15% for Mystic Controller allies. So that can work in your benefit as well if you're doing some special counters with Mystic characters like the Eternals or something. You know, giving them that extra speed can really help you in the long run. You know, the game of Marvel Strike Force really does depend on the speed, and speed manipulation is very important in this game. You'll find that a lot of counters can be beaten just by adding Kang or maybe Cable to the team, just to get that extra bit of speed so that you can go first and stop them from even going, you know, sometimes even taking a turn. You know, it's really important. These 4 characters here are very important to your roster as well. Kang being the most important in my opinion, Emma probably being the second. Loki and Cable, they're nice to have. As you can see, I don't really have them built up very much. Loki, however, is part of the Bifrost team now. I'm still building up characters, you know, catching up to what I've missed, but Loki is definitely someone that you can build safely because he is part of that Bifrost team as well. And then you can also use him in other team combos to get a little bit of that speed bonus. But anyways, we're going to be moving on to the next section of the video, which is Marvel Strike Force exclusive characters. Here we go. Alrighty guys, and we are back. So I have the 4 Marvel Strike Force exclusive characters, and why do I say that they'll always be needed? Well, just based off of, you know, the past and how I've seen things going forward in this game, they always seem to rework these characters to be part of the meta in some way at some point in their lifespan. I'll take the camera off for a second. I've actually only have 2 diamonds like on my roster at the moment, and Kestrel and Spider-Weaver are 2 characters that I put diamonds on. Just because I believe that they're really that good. I do want to take Kestrel to level 95 in the future, but I just don't have enough gold and everything. All of these characters here are amazing characters. They're Marvel Strike Force exclusive, which means, you know, they're definitely going to be reworked at some point. You know, I don't think that they're going to ever want to leave these guys out of the meta, because they made these characters, right, specifically for this game. Vol being the most recent, also being part of the Bifrost team. She'll probably get reworked in the future to be some part of some other team, but right now she is part of that Bifrost team, and she does have amazing Dark Dimension tags. It seems almost that they're making a specific character for every game mode. Deathpool was a raid team character before, and now she is a, I believe, Cosmic Crucible character, but she's still pretty good in other game modes as well. Spider-Weaver, just a broken character all around. I do believe that she is one of the best characters in the game still. If she has Spider-Man 2099, her and Spider-Man 2099 are a pretty deadly combo in Cosmic Crucible. But yeah, all these Marvel Strike Force exclusive characters I believe will be safe to build and always be needed in the game. They always rework them, you know, take them to high red stars if you can. Red stars aren't really that great anymore. I'm just starting to build Vol right now. I do want to take her into Dark Dimension because she does just have those great Dark Dimension tags with her. To be honest, there's not too much more I can really say about them. They're just all 4 really, really strong characters that I believe will always be part of your roster in some way or another, that will always, you know, be useful in some game mode of the game, whether it be Dark Dimension like Vol, Cosmic Crucible like Spider-Weaver or Deathpool, or they just reworked Kestrel for like the 3rd time. She's now part of a raid team. Like I mentioned, they're always probably going to be getting reworks because I'm sure that the developers of Marvel Strike Force will want to make sure that their characters, you know, get used in the game, that way they can really sell them, you know what I mean? But anyways, let's move on to the next section of the video, which is Dark Dimension characters. Here we go. Alrighty, so here we are with the 5 Dark Dimension characters that are available right now. I did put Apocalypse in here. I know he's not a Dark Dimension character, but I do believe he's pretty much the same thing as these Dark Dimension characters, you know, being a challenge to get at this kind of character in the game. The reason why I say all 5 of these characters will be useful in some way or another is because going forward, they're going to be adding the Mythic section in Dark Dimension 7. They're going to be adding a whole section for these characters, and I believe that these are all 5 of the characters, well, plus Ultimus, but Ultimus is not a character that I recommend building. He is not on this list. He doesn't really count as a Dark Dimension character, let's be honest. He was the first one in the game. He was the very first Dark Dimension character in the game that you could unlock. Actually, Thew, if you did your homework, you'd know that Ultimus was part of the Ultimus Orb unlock, and Ultron was actually the first Dark Dimension character that you could unlock. Also, Kestrel is going to be part of that Mythic section as well, because Kestrel is now part of the Dark Dimension 1 unlocks. Back to you, Thew. But he is terrible. They have yet to rework him, but all of the other ones are fantastic characters still. Ultron being part of that Masters of Evil team, still one of the best Cosmic Crucible teams in the game. Dr. Doom, still a very solid character. I wouldn't say he's the most priority Dark Dimension character that you should build anymore. However, he has held up over the years, and he's still really, really strong. And Dormammu is still one of the best characters in the game. He's very, very strong. I would take all these characters to like 5 red star and then stop. I wouldn't really go past that. Maybe Apocalypse to 7 star. If you have the red stars available, the dark promotion credits, then I would definitely, you know, take Apocalypse to 7 red before any of these other characters. However, they're all very strong. I don't have Super Skrull yet, but I know Super Skrull is probably the best character in the game. His ultimate is pretty devastating. It pretty much wipes the entire field. They will all be very, very good for your roster if you do build them at some point in the game. You know, if you're just beating Dark Dimension 4 for the first time, I would still recommend building up Dr. Doom just to help you out in Dark Dimension 5. There are better global characters now. However, you are going to need him for Dark Dimension 7 at some point if you do ever want to beat Dark Dimension 7, because he will be required in that new section of the Dark Dimension. He'll still help you out throughout the rest of the game. They're still really good on team counters. You know, if he still gets off his ultimate, let's say on defense or offense. All these characters is basically what I'm trying to say, make teams work. Dormammu having the revives, able to help other teams have another life, it is really, really strong, and it's really good. Highly recommend, you know, building all of these characters up to a certain level. You don't have to take them all the way up to the max level of the game. However, again, like I mentioned, you are going to need them in the future for mythic sections of the Dark Dimension 7 nodes. So there's really no point in not building these characters at all. They're going to help you in your roster at some point in the game, whether it be the beginning, middle, or end. They're all really good characters. Highly recommend building them. Let's move on to the next section of the video, which is battlefield effects. Here we go. Alrighty, and here we are with the last 2 characters that I believe will always have some sort of use in this game in the future. We have Red Hulk and Nova. Red Hulk having the best battlefield effect in the game. They're very unique, these 2 characters, Nova and Red Hulk. They're the only 2 characters in the game that have battlefield effects. You know, Red Hulk having the one that it damages the enemy, and Nova having the one that has a positive effect on your side of the field. I don't really know what Nova's does yet, forgive me. I just unlocked him. His event is going on right now. However, I will definitely be taking him into Dark Dimension 6, probably Dark Dimension 7 as well, just because the battlefield effect is such a unique mechanic that only 2 characters in the game have right now, and I believe that they'll keep that effect pretty exclusive to legendary characters. If they do release a character that has a battlefield effect, it'll most likely be like a dark promotion credit character or one that's very, very strong. Basically what I'm trying to say is keep an eye out for these battlefield effect characters. They'll most likely always have some sort of use in the game. They'll make certain teams work. They'll make it really hard for the enemies to beat. I know Nowhere is pretty difficult to beat on defense in War if you don't have the right counters for them. But yeah, Nova as a standalone character is much better than the rest of his team. He is definitely someone to keep on your radar. The battlefield effect in general is probably the best mechanic in the game, probably the best besides Spider Weaver's charges where you just miss every turn, your attacks do nothing. That's a little ridiculous. But again, Red Hulk and Nova are two amazing characters. They are the only two characters in the game right now that do have battlefield effects, so I would highly recommend keeping them on your radar in your roster if you haven't built them already. I will definitely be building Nova at some point, but again, I just unlocked him, so I don't know too much about him. Forgive me, so everything I say about him take with a grain of salt, but I've seen lots of gameplay of him. He's really good. He helps a lot in Dark Dimension. But let's get on to the last two characters of the video, which are honorable mentions. Alrighty, and here we are with the last two characters that are honorable mentions, and the reason why they're not on the list is because technically at some point I do believe that they will get power crept out of the meta. They don't have anything super unique about them, just except for the fact that they're just extremely strong and have amazing abilities. Icarus and Cersei are the last two characters. The reason why I mention them is just because they've kept up with the meta for years now, once being in the arena meta, but now just moving on to other game modes. It just seems that they never get pushed out of the meta at some point, and who knows, we may eventually get some other Eternals in the future, so keep an eye out for these guys especially. The reason why they're really that good is really because of Icarus's ultimate. When his ultimate goes off, if it gets one kill, he gets to use his ultimate again, and that's really good because his ultimate does an insane amount of damage at this point. As long as you keep upgrading him to diamonds and red stars, I believe that he's not really going anywhere in the meta. His damage will definitely help you in the future. And then if you have Cersei, and then if you build Icarus, you're really going to have to build Cersei as well, which is why I have them together as a duo. Otherwise, they won't be as good on their own. If you have the two together though, they make a deadly combo. They've kind of withstood the meta for a very long time. Even still today, they're being used a lot. I don't use them as much as I once did, however, but they are still used on several teams. I can use them in War, Cosmic Crucible. I could even use them in Arena if I wanted to, like early. You could even use them in earlier Arena shards if you wanted to. But anyways, they are really strong. They don't quite make the top 15 characters of the list that will always be needed, but they are characters that I did want to mention just because I believe that they are that good. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'm going to be making lots of Marvel Strike Force videos in the future. Might not be every single day, but I will continue to make videos as much as I can, and I hope you guys will enjoy them. But anyways, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.